Hey folks, everything new under the sun. I hope I am back with a microphone. I think I got my microphone working again, so all those complaining that you can't hear me in my videos, hopefully this will help, and hopefully the audio will be better. I did order a new microphone as well, but it turns out my old one seems to be working again, so we'll see how long that lasts. Strange things seem to happen in these last days, coincidences, all sorts of weird things. So far, I haven't got my third strike yet, so I still am on YouTube. And again, for those who wondered where I was in YouTube jail. So a couple of quick articles here, just to kind of recap what is happening. There have been YouTubers who have spoken a lot lately. I'm thinking of BP Earthwatch and City Prepping, who have made really a big deal of this this debt limit negotiation thing going on and the timeline for this. And will the U.S. default on its debts, which it hasn't in, obviously many, many years. Has it ever? I don't know. Maybe you can fact check me in the comments there. I don't know my American history. But it's not a thing they usually allow to occur. But the Republicans apparently had caved, but now it seems like they're not caving and they're still holding out to come up with a better deal, specifically as it relates to decreasing the deficit. Now, the deficit isn't the debt. The deficit is just how much you're running your budget underwater each year, which then adds to the debt. So decreasing the deficit is a good idea. It's as if I said, I'm in debt $30,000, but the deficit is that my budget is $600 for the month, but I'm spending $800 every month, and so that deficit, if you cut it, if you still have a deficit, you're going to be creating debt like crazy, and so that's what they're always talking about when they speak about deficit. But it says they're just unreasonable. Debt ceiling talks collapse as Republicans abruptly walk out of negotiations. Now, this would be, I don't see this debt ceiling thing coming to pass. I don't think there's going to be a default. Why? Well, even though it's the smartest thing to do, and it should have been done 10 years ago, I don't think the Republicans will do it, because even though it's the best for everybody, it will mean the collapse of the U.S. If this was done 20, 30 years ago, it would just be, a recession. Everybody would have to take a haircut, and maybe we would be living with less, but we would be, financially viable nations, the United States, Canada. But because no one wants to take a haircut, and it seems that we can continue to raise the debt limits without any repercussions from anybody. It seems we can just keep printing money out of thin air without any sort of consequences. Nobody votes for any leader, politician on either side who will, take the haircut, and nobody wants to take the haircut. You and I, none of us actually want to take a haircut, and we vote that way. The majority of Canadians and Americans vote for politicians who will who have a platform of spending more money and giving you more money. Nobody wants to have less than they have now, and that's the reality of what will need to occur if we want to get back to a balanced budget. But again, we're too far gone. We're too far, living in a fat, dumb, and happy, and rich in our castles in the Western world. We're too far into it, where none of us have any idea what it looks like to be poor anymore, and none of us will stand for it until we, collapse, a default. What am I thinking of? As long as we can continue to fake the economy and print money out of thin air, we will keep doing so. And we will do so until some nation takes us to war, or we absolutely can't anymore. We will not choose to take the better financial route. The voters will not choose that. The politicians certainly would not get reelected. And so we're heading into economic collapse and famine. And even though this is the right thing to keep these negotiations going and not increase the debt limit, because it's just, you just dig yourself a deeper hole, they will keep doing that because it works and because they seem to get away with it every year. All right, that's kind of a long chatter on that point. U.S. preparing for Ukraine war to become a frozen conflict. Now, I think Canadian Prepper spoke of this, and the idea that they're kind of the U.S. is kind of giving up on this situation. That I've reported before that there's about 5 months for the Ukrainians to show progress to the Western world, specifically the U.S., as elections are coming up, and no one sees this war going anywhere. So it's a bunch of money wasted in the eyes of the voters, who the both parties need to get them voted into power. And so they're kind of seeing it as a bit of a quagmire. It's not going anywhere. They thought they could deal with Russia quicker, and Russia's been able to drag this out. And that's to Russia's advantage to drag this out as long as possible, really, because it means that the voters on this side will get tired, and we'll go to the next. We'll look for the next squirrel that takes our attention, and then they can just run over Ukraine once Western nations, NATO, stops funding Ukraine. So is it kind of the next quagmire? And it is a quagmire, really, at this point. But that being said, this is an article again from Zero Hedge. U.S. signals willingness, and this is on CBC as well. This is kind of the mainstream Western media. U.S. signals willingness to greenlight export of F-16 jets to Ukraine. Not only the export, but also the training of this. And here's a meme. This is what Biden said in March 2022. The idea that we're going to send in tanks to Ukraine, that's called World War III. And what does he say in January 2023 at the bottom? Today I am announcing that the United States will be sending Abrams tanks to Ukraine. So he said this a year ago, and that constituted World War III. And apparently saying it today that we're sending them, that's not an admission of World War III. Folks, we've been in World War III since Russia invaded, since we decided to back Ukraine. This is how world wars start. They don't happen like in the movies. 1 minute, everything's awesome, and then the next minute it's all out conventional war and bombs flying in the air. These things take time to roll over in terms of the voters and the citizens of a country far away to say, you know what, we're going to get involved in this. Look at World War II. Look at how long it took for the United States to get involved in these things. It took them a long time of fighting to where they decided, okay, we're going to go in and help out here. And, nothing happens in the real world very quickly. And just like, we read Bible prophecy and we think, well, that's going to happen, bang, 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 super quick. But really, these roll out and occur over a long period of time, many, many years even. And so the march toward the 7-year period will appear to us to be slow, and we will think the Lord is tarrying. Even the Bible says that. The Lord isn't tarrying in this case, but he's waiting, for that last person to find the Lord Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior. But God lives outside of time. So really, this is taking no time for God, because he's outside of that. We're in the timeline of the history of the world, and it seems to be slow for us from our perspective. So here's an interesting one. And I don't know what this means, but this is from EurasianTimes.com. Russia acquires deadly handheld flamethrowers equipped with thermobaric munitions designed for urban combat. Now that's a scary situation. Is Russia getting ready for hand-to-hand and urban combat with the Ukrainians? Maybe specifically thinking about Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, going building to building, maybe burning down everything. And it's interesting that they're going to flamethrowers. So there you go. And kind of an interesting article. It says a flamethrower was created for single use. It is similar to one of the most popular RPO Bumblebee developed in 1980. The Bumblebee, also known as the RPO Shamal rocket-propelled infantry flamethrower A, is a man-portable, single-use flamethrower that uses rocket propulsion. So again, maybe this is some of their asymmetric warfare against Abrams tanks. If you shower them in a flamethrower, gasoline, something like that, then maybe that could really take out the eyes and ears of the Abrams tanks, and maybe that's why they're getting these flamethrowers. That would be certainly an asymmetric way to take out tanks, which would be otherwise pretty hard to take out, I think, with conventional weaponry. But Russia is doing everything asymmetrically, and the United States is not really doing it asymmetrically. There's propaganda on both sides, folks, so you need to read news on both sides. Read CNN. CNN's interesting, and I'll kind of a segue, but CNN seems to be going into the middle in terms of its reporting, which is interesting. I don't know if you're following that, but they're reporting more, center news. It's not all left-leaning news. There's a right-leaning news. They let Donald Trump go on there live for an hour and talk, again, in an effort to get a broader base of viewers. So that's interesting. But you need to be watching mainstream media, alternative media, and media from all the countries. And as I always say, the truth is in the middle somewhere. So, folks, I'll try to continue to keep you updated. Thanks for following, and do go on to Rumble and follow my account on Rumble. And if I get deleted, get purged from YouTube, get censored, get canceled, then you can find me on Rumble. So, as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.